Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopiyanavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopiyanavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vrayajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrayajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Gauranitai ki jai, Janabhai Subhadra ki jai, Sri Radha Vallabha ki jai, Gaura Premananti Hari Hari Vo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Yaya Nudiraje Nasta Prayesu Padresu Nityam Bhavata Sevaya Bhakti-Ritama Sloke Bhakti Dadati Naistiki. Thank you. For God. Yeah, reading Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8. The Lord slayed the king of the demons, and today is text 45. If we can repeat, please. Sri Siddha Uchu Jono Gatin Yoga Siddhana Sardu Jono Gatin Yoga Siddhana Sadur Aharshi Yoga Tapavo Balena Aharshit Yoga Tapo Balena Nanadar Pantanakar Vidadara Nanadar Pantam Nakair Vidadara Tasmai Tuvyam Pranatat Smonrisingha Tasmai Tuvyam Pranatat Smonrisingha Sri Siddha Uchu Jono Gatin Yoga Siddhana Sadur Aharsit Yoga Tapo Valena Nanadar Pantam Nakair Vidadara Tasmai Tuvyam Pranatas Munisingha Siddha Uchu Jono Gatin Yoga Siddhana Sadur Aharsit Yoga Tapo Valena Nanadar Pantam Nakair Vidadara Tasmai Tuvyam Pranatas Munisingha. Anyone would like to repeat, please? Sri Nisingha Uchu Jono Gatin Yoga Siddhana Sadur Aharsi Yoga Tapo Valena Nanadar Pantan Nakair Vidadara Tasmai Tuvyam Pranatas Munisingha Sri Siddha Uchu Jono gatin yoga siddhana sadhur. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar pantan nakair vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo nisinha. Sri Siddha Utu. Jono gatin yoga siddhana sadhur. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar pantam nakir vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo nisinha. Sri Siddha Utu. Yoga nagatam yoga asana. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar pantam nakir vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo nisinha. Ladies, any lady, would you like to repeat? Sri Siddha Uchu. Jono gatin yoga siddhana sadhur. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar pantam nakir vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo nisinha. Sri Siddha Utu. Jono gatin yoga siddhana sadhur. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar pantam nakir vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo nisinha. Sri Siddha Utu. Jono gatin yoga siddhana sadhur. Aharsi yoga tapo valena. Nanadar panta nakair vidadara. Tasmai tuvyam pranatasmo. Thank you. Translation word by word. Sri Siddha Uchu, the inhabitants of Siddha Loka says, Ya, the person who na over gatin perfection yoga siddhan achieved by mystic yoga, asadu most uncivilized and dishonest, aharsit stole away, yoga of mysticism, tapa and austerities, valena by the power, nanadarpan proud due to wealth, opulence and strength, tam him nakair by the nails, vidadara pierced, tasmai unto him, tuvyam unto you, pranata bow down. Sma, we are. Nrisingha, O Lord Nrisimhadev. Translation and purpose by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka prayed, O Lord Nrisimha, because we belong to Siddhaloka, we automatically achieve perfection in all 8 kinds of mystic power. Yet, Hiranyakashipu was so dishonest that by the strength of his power and austerity, he took away our powers. Thus, he became very proud of his mystic strength. Now, because this rogue has been killed by your nails, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Purpose. On earth, there are many yogis who can exhibit some frivolous mystic power by manufacturing pieces of gold like magic. But the inhabitants of the planet Siddhaloka are actually extremely powerful in mysticism. They can fly from one planet and another without airplanes. This is called Lagima Siddhi. They can actually become very light and fly in the sky. By a severe type of austerity, however, Hiranyakashipu excelled all the inhabitants of Siddhaloka and created disturbance for them. The residents of Siddhaloka were also beaten by the powers of Hiranyakashipu. Now that Hiranyakashipu has been killed by the Lord, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka are also felt relieved. Onanjanati mirandajah jananjana salakaya chakshurulumitanjana tasmai sri gurave namaha mukankaroti vachalam bhaktir lahunte gurun jat kripata maham bande srigata tinataninam paramananda vardanan Sri Chaitanya Ishwaran. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Hanumat Presak Swami iti namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaura Vani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunjavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Vantakalpataruyascha Kripasinduyavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, thank you so much for being today in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Simatan class. So I thought today we can continue a little bit exploring about and trying to understand what is happening at this point. As we know, by the prayers and the circumstance that Prahlad Maharaj was experiencing, and in order to prove the words of his devotee, Lord appeared in a very impressive and unexpected way. Lord Nrisimhadev, a combination of half lion, half human, and it is not part of the normal creation that Lord Brahma manifested, so nobody can expect that. And that was the way how Hiranyakashipu was defeated, because it was beyond his capacity of understanding that only Krishna can manifest. So Hiranyakashipu was killed by Lord Nrisimhadev, and for that, after that episode of the pastime, now Lord Nrisimha is sitting in the throne and full of anger, and the description in Bhagavatam is quite graphic, how it's manifesting full of anger, his hair, his stand, his eyes, and it's very fearful form. Nobody can approach to him. And all the inhabitants of the universe are around and just trying to visualize what is happening. It is all that is seen, and Brahma, all the superior living beings, humans, everybody around, and nobody knew what to do. They were very impressed. So, but the head of all beings, like Lord Brahma, he started trying to offer prayers. And then, as we remember a few verses before, Lord Brahma said something. Somebody remember what he prayed for, what he says? Lord Brahma, what he prayed? No? Lord Brahma, he said, well, I offer my obeisances to you, my Lord, because all the creation, manifestation, destruction of the universe is taking place because of you, and you killed this demon. So he offered his prayers based on his function, based on his experience, how he served. Then also Indra offered his prayers. Before Indra was Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva also prayed based on his function, his understanding. He said, my Lord, because that anger that you are manifested, it's for the destruction of the whole universe. So for Lord Shiva, that is a reference because that is part of his function. And then after Lord Shiva, it's Lord Indra. And Lord Indra also, it's based on his function. It's all the sacrifice has been stopped. Now you kill Hiranyakashipu, so this will be be taking place. Then the Pitas. Yesterday, I think we studied the Pitas. Because before were the sages, pray based on the benefit of austerity, how that was interrupted by Hiranyakashipu. And the Pitas, and today, is the Siddhas. They say, well, our powers have been stolen by Hiranyakashipu. Now you kill him, so now we feel relieved. So we will be able to regain our powers. So then we will also see different living entities praying according to their functions. When I try to understand this part, I thought, how this can be extrapolated in something that we can relate to. Because different living beings are offering prayers to the Lord according to their function and relationship with Krishna. They're all devotees. I thought it can be like, for example, if I see devotees in the kitchen managers, Nanda Prabhu and Ishan Thakur Prabhu, probably their prayers or their approach to the Lord will say based on the offering, the bhoga in the kitchen, all the dynamic, the cooks, their approach and relationship with the Lord will be based on that, what they are doing. And also, for example, if I imagine Bhaktiman Prabhu, it would be more related to what he's doing in his service-based deity worship. He probably will approach the Lord based on that. Another example with Advaya Pitambar Prabhu with the book distribution. What is his function? Or Ojasvi Prabhu and Sri Jagannath Prabhu, Jagannath Ram Prabhu about Bhakti Vriksha programs, how they work, and they will approach based on what they are, how they are serving to the Lord. The same way, these different living beings are offering prayers to the Lord based in how they interact with the Lord, what is their level of understanding and functions. So, but also I thought it would be interesting if we can understand who are the Siddhas. For me, it's a very interesting part because I don't have much understanding about or interaction who is a Siddha. Do you know who are the Siddhas? Who are Siddhas? Because we have been studying Bhagavatam until this point is 7 canto, and when I did the research small research about the Siddhas, it thinks that they interact in all part of through all Bhagavatam, from the 1st canto to the 12th canto. Siddhas are there. So I thought, oh wow, that's quite interesting. Who are they? Can you help me to identify or to understand who are they? Any idea who are the Siddhas? Yeah, that's right. They have, in the verse said they have the 8 type of mystic powers. It appears that they are the perfect mystics, and they have a lot of power and all the mysticism manifested. And then, what else we can say about the Siddhas? Anybody else has any idea? We have been studying in different cantos, the Siddhas, and I thought, wow, what is this? How is this? So, if you allow me, I can share some points of my research that yesterday, in order to prepare the class, I was organizing some points. I found some interesting points. Because, for example, yesterday I was trying to ask in the class how we can explain that Hiranyakashipu, by stopping the sacrifices, the yagyas, his idea was that in this way, the demigods, they will become weak. So in that way, I'll conquer them. So I wasn't able to understand that, so I was trying to do some research. And also one kind devotee, Surya Gopal Prabhu, gave me some nice tips, and he explained nicely some points I wanted to share with you, if you allow me, in order to help us to understand what is going on, and it was quite interesting. For example, in the research, I thought what I found is that there are different levels in the creation, as we know, the primary creation and the secondary creation. In the primary creation, all the ingredients, Mahatattva took place, and that is done by the Lord Himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And in that process, in the primary creation, also there are some stages. Like, for example, in the beginning, all the ingredients are created. That is the first stage. In the second stage is that because the false ego takes place, so the interaction of activities and knowledge also is manifested. When we say the Mahatattva, it's all the ingredients plus the modes of nature. Then after the creation or the manifestation of the false ego, the sense perception took place. Then after the sense perception took place, the knowledge and the capacity of work is taking place. And then is the Lord create the devatas, or the deities of all different activities, or the controllers of the senses and the elements. That is the fifth stage. And then after, the last part of the primary creation is the creation of, or manifestation of, ignorance and darkness. At this point, it's just natural manifestation. It's created by Krishna. That's part of the primary creation. Then, from the seventh stage, Lord Brahma takes place. So he created, for example, from at the seventh level, or seventh phase, Lord Brahma created all the living entities, then the human beings, and then the demigods. So those are the different stages that Lord Brahma took place in the second part, we call secondary stage, or secondary part of the creation. But when the Lord Brahma created demigods, the demigods actually is a category that include the 8 different types of subtypes. And that is new thing. I thought the demigod is just demigod, but no, included 8 different species, if we can say. Among them are the demigods themselves. We have, for example, so I have written here, with the demigods, we have the demigods, forefathers, the asuras, then Gandharvas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Siddhas, Charanas, Vidyadharas, Buddhas, and then superhuman beings. Those are superior than human beings. So I thought before, that's again my personal limited understanding, I thought that demons or asuras is just a stage of mind. In my studies of Bhagavad Gita, for example, in the 16th chapter, when we study about the divine and demoniac nature, it's clearly explained that it's more a state of consciousness. So I thought, okay, demons are those negative, the tendency, or those beings who have the tendency to act independently from God, not acknowledging the presence of God, trying to enjoy Lord over the nature, and independently acting. I thought that is a demon, a state of consciousness. In my case, experiencing myself that, so my divine and demoniac nature. But actually, demon is also a category, a living being, a specific living beings that Lord Brahma created. And they are superior than the Siddhas. That is explained why they are superior. So I thought, how is this explained? And also in another point in Bhagavatam, when Rishabhadev explained to his sons about the creation, how the classification, the genealogy, how the living entities are classified. He said, for example, that the living beings who has the life force are superior than dull matter. So that is the base for him to discriminate. Those who has the living force are superior than dull matter. And among those, the beings who are movement are superior than those who are no moving. That means animals are superior than plants. And among the animals, superiors are those who has intelligence. Those who have intelligence, so among the animals, those who do have intelligence, human beings are superior than them. But superior than human beings are the ghosts. Do you know why the ghosts are superior than human beings? That was a bit surprising for me when I was reading, ghosts are superior than human beings. Do you know why? No idea? Rishabhadev said that they are superior because they don't have physical body. So I thought, oh wow, that is an interesting point. I thought having a physical body is a facility. But according to Rishabhadev, the ghosts are superior because they don't have the condition of physical body. They act in a different plane. And superior than the ghosts are the Gandharvas. And superior than Gandharvas are the Siddhas. Oh, that's another word, Siddhas, okay? And superior than the Siddhas are the Asuras, the demons. And superior than the Asuras are the demigods. And superior than the demigods, among the demigods is Lord Indra, is the head. But superior than Lord Indra is, or the sons of Lord Brahma are superior than them. Among the sons of Lord Brahma, do you know who is superior? Any idea? Among the sons of Lord Brahma, who is superior? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is considered to be the son of Lord Brahma. So in that way, Lord Brahma is superior than Lord Shiva. But Rishabhadev said, he says that because Lord Brahma is subordinated to me, so I'm superior than all of them. He is inferior. But that is beautiful part. I thought, wow, that's interesting how Lord Rishabhadev said, because I'm inclined to the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas are the base of all. So they hold the description. Lord Rishabhadev said that. So wow, Brahmanas. And in ISKCON, according Prabhupada's, the way how he designed ISKCON, Prabhupada defines that ISKCON is the school for Brahmanas. So Brahmanas is a school for Brahminical culture. That he help us is a very effective tool for us to become a devotee, higher than Brahmanas in that sense. No? Well, yeah, that is one point I wanted to share about the Siddhas and how their position and how that dynamic. But also, interesting point is how these all living beings and the hierarchies of beings are interacting. Prabhupada, that was another point that I thought it was quite revealing. One example that Prabhupada explained in the first canto, chapter 1, text 4, in the purport, Prabhupada explained that Vishnu, Krishna, is the root of a big tree. This big tree has branches, leaves, twigs, and all the living beings, demigods, asuras, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, human beings, are those branches, twigs, and leaves. But so there is a dynamic, an interaction between all these beings that we can call, in biology, is called symbiosis. Have you heard about that? What is symbiosis? Any idea? Do you know what is some symbiosis? Yeah, interacting in one place, yeah, different beings. Being in a place, there is a relationship. So I was researching what is symbiosis. He said that there are 3 types of symbiosis. One is the mutualism, when 2 different species of beings, they act in the same, they interact together in the same place, but they help each other. The benefit is it's mutual. Nobody is harmed, but they help each other. That is mutualism. And the another type of symbiosis is commensalism, when one species live close to another, but take a benefit of interacting, but doesn't harm the other living entity. But get benefit, but without harming. That is commensalism. And the other aspect is parasitism. Parasitism is when one species is living with the another one, but is harming. It's taking advantage of that being and harming. So I thought, wow, this is quite interesting. It's what is happening here. It's like the interaction of all beings and demons, in this case, Hiranyakashipu, is taking the position of a parasite. And like it's parasitism what is happening. He is interacting with others, living beings, and taking benefit of them, but harming them. So this is the way how, for example, this is the natural dynamic of relationships. It's broken, it's harming. And I thought, wow, this is the example of Srila Prabhupada with the Vishnu, the root of the big tree, the source of all living entities, the support of maintaining of all, the root, the cause of everything. But in between we have branches and twigs and leaves, so there is interaction. There is a dynamic interdependency between all the living beings. Like, for example, yesterday in the discussion that Karunanidhi Prabhu explained that the demigods and human beings and the sacrifices, the oblations, that dynamic, that interaction take place if we visualize the tree and the branches in the tree and the twigs. There is an interdependency there. And if that is blocked, so it's some part of For example, if a branch of a tree it's broken, the twigs and leaves will die. So in that way, I can understand why by stopping sacrifices, demigods are starving in one way. Because that dynamic of the interaction and reciprocation, it's not taking place. Of course, at the same time, is the Supreme Source, Krishna, it's maintaining everything. But he creates a natural order where we can all interact, that symbiosis. But when that is broken, or so some entities act as a parasite, or like a parasitism, then that natural order, it's producing disturbance. So at this point, for example, is the position of the Siddhas, acknowledging that Lord Hiranyakashipu stole their power, they felt suppressed. So now by cutting the parasite or killing the parasite there, so the natural order is reestablished, and everybody get the nourishment and the interaction that takes, natural interaction created by God. In this point, for example, yesterday, Surya Gopal Prabhu explained to me that, imagine that because, as we mentioned, the gods are superior than the humans because they don't have subtle bodies. The demigods and the other superior living entities, they have also subtle bodies. The way how they get their nourishment, it's in a different way. That it's not like gross way, like we get, for example, nourishment by eating physical elements or ingredients of food. Their food is based more in a subtle elements. For example, the fact of acknowledging the authorities, acknowledging their existence by giving oblation or sacrifice, is the way how they receive the nourishment. And as we explained, is that the natural dynamic, that the natural symbiosis that exists, that Krishna created. So, for example, when the sacrifices are stopped, the demigods, they don't receive the nourishment, and whatever they are able to, or how they live or how they are surviving is based on the nourishment that Krishna directly is giving, but they are not living fully because that natural dynamic of interaction has stopped. I don't know if I'm confusing you all, because I can see that some of them are just sleeping, and so I don't want to bother you. But at this point, I just wanted to share with you how this creation takes place and how these living beings are developed and organized by Krishna, and they have their functions, and how they are now interacting with Krishna. The Siddhas offering prayers according to their nature and relating to Krishna. But at this point also, if you allow me, I want just to make sure the class, I wanted to mention about what prayers are. Because we are studying prayers, so there is a format, ideal way to pray. Anybody has idea what is the best way to pray? There is a format. Anybody has any idea how to pray? Mataji, do you have any idea? What is the format, the ideal way to pray? By chanting, yes. By remembering the Lord, yes. It said that, for example, now we are studying prayers, it said that when we pray, the first part of the prayer, the format is, the first part of the prayer should be glorification of the person that we are addressing to. As you see, for example, now the Siddhas are glorifying the Lord. Brahma was glorifying the Lord. So in the beginning of our prayers should be that. Glorification. When we approach to Krishna, we glorify Krishna to our level, no? Glorifying his qualities. Then, the second part of the prayers is we acknowledge our limitation, how we are, our conditioning. And the third part of the prayer is we present our request. Yeah, that is the format how we can approach or offer prayers. Just in case we can, we would like to explore more how to pray. And because Bhagavatam is full of prayers, and we are learning many prayers from the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, we hear a lot of prayers until the end. And in these prayers, it's revealed the level of consciousness and advancement of different devotees. I got one prayer that the Siddhas offered to the Lord in the fourth canto, just to conclude the class, in order for us to understand about the Siddhas. There is one prayer of the Siddhas in the fourth canto, chapter 7, text 35. They said, like an elephant that has suffered in the forest fire, but can get all the relief from his troubles by entering in water, our minds, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as pleasing the pleasure of merging in the Absolute. And Srila Prabhupada says that because of these prayers, we can understand that the Siddhas, they have control of mind, they have the 8 kind of mystic perfections, but they seem to be pure devotees. That is the purpose of Srila Prabhupada explaining us or letting us know who are the Siddhas. And by, and also a small point about the Siddhas is that is this a description in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, text 20, chapter 20, text 44. It said that Lord Brahma gave the Siddhas the ability of being invisible. That is called Antardana. So the Siddhas are their presence is perceived, but they are not visible to the eyes, because Lord Brahma gave them that blessings. So I stop at this point. Anyone has any question, any comment about the topic that we discuss? No questions? Where is Sivya with the questions? Oh, Prabhu has a question. Thank you.
Thank you for your class, Mataji. In the Vedas, they mention that there's so many different types of species of humans. When they mention that there's so many different types of humans, are they talking about demigods as well involved? And they also call demigods humans, or the human species, you know?
They also call...
Yeah, like, do they also, when they say there's so many different types of human species, do they also mean that demigods and those other higher beings are part of the human species as well?
Yeah, yes. I was mentioning in my research, this is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, text, chapter 10, text 14. onwards. It's a description of all creation, different stages, and the different type of demigods, 8 kind of demigods. Among them, the Siddhas are part of them, and the demigods himself as well. But so there are 8 types of them. That answers your question?
Not really. It's like, are they considered in the human species?
Demigods and the human? No. Because when we explain the different categories of beings, human beings are part of the, they take place in the 9th stage of creation, and superior to that, the next stage of creation are the demigods. And according to Rishabhadev, human beings are inferior than demigods. It's a different type of beings. Is that that answer your question?
Yeah, but then it says that there's so many types of species of humans.
Yeah, 400.
What are the other types? You know?
What are those types? Well, you got me this time. No, I don't know what are those types of 400. I only remember that there are 400,000 different human beings, species in human beings, subcategories. Another point to do research. I don't know those 400,000. I have to read more. I don't know if there is any description about that. Till now, no much. In Bhagavatam, I didn't find much. But that, yes, that specification, there's different types of human beings. Any other question? Sylvia, do you have a question? Not today? No question. Very rare today. Okay. Anybody else? Any question? Yeah. Okay, so we can finish here. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Grantara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanandi, Hare Hare Bol.